night out right. Panel at the table in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing, till the story runs hot. 1-1 from the city, badge heavy on his chest, towing that law like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head. Which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead. Dago from the cafe says forget about it, leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Lee at the front, head advocate, steady stare, every word like a warning, every silence a dare. All of them leaning in, clock crawling, eyes bright. Every secret feels louder than the buzzing of the night. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name, line by line. If you wrote it in the shadows, we'll read it out this time. Yeah. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite.
Well, hello out there, everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic Sunday. And it really helps if you mute your other screen so that you don't have an echo. So there's that. Yes. So, anyway, welcome to another episode of Crimes After Dark. This is the Sunday edition. For those who don't know, Lee takes Sundays off so he can rest and recharge a little and get ready for the week ahead because, as we all know, he is a super busy dude. And so he takes a little time out for he and the she devil, as he calls her, his wife, to maybe play some cards or whatever else they get up to. Who knows? But so Sundays are a little bit of a different animal. Right now, we take a case that Lee is not working on and do our kind of when the boss is away, the mice will play, that kind of thing. So right now we're covering the case of Princess Diana, going over her death and the very odd circumstances around it, doing a deep dive into that. So that's what we're doing at the moment. This is episode 3. Uh, the first 2 weeks covered mainly her childhood up into early adulthood, and got into her wedding and marriage to Prince Charles. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start bringing up the panel. We will have almost everyone. JJ can't join us on Sundays. He's playing gigs right now on Sundays. So probably he said around the end of April, early May, he'll probably be back with us on Sundays, maybe. So we will see. But we have, of course, Logan from Bronx Tales backstage. We have Dego from True Crime Cafe backstage. And of course, myself and our Captain 11 is with us this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and let's bring up Logan here. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, except for about 30,000 makeup mishaps before the show started. My goodness. I don't even know why I try. Okay, you ladies will feel my pain when I tell you that every time I put eyeliner on or anything that has to do with my eyes, they start watering like crazy, and then I have black shit all over my face.
The struggle is real
for this struggle, right?
Oh my gosh. It really is. And I have such a problem finding like mascara and stuff like that doesn't make my eyes burn. Even the stuff that says gentle or whatever, hypoallergenic, whatever, still makes my eyes burn. And I'm trying to see stuff. And like you said, the tears, and I'm like, oh God.
I think my goal now is I'm just going to start doing less and less and less. So if you guys start thinking I'm looking crazy or letting myself go, it's not. I'm just tired with all the makeup.
No, you always look great, honey. You always look good. Yeah, so don't worry. But I know what you're talking about. Or you poke yourself in the eye with the mascara.
I swear. Every time.
You just, yeah, it's great. It's great. Yep. So, but Mittens for Kittens says she gets the same thing with the eyeliner and everything. She knows, she feels our pain. She knows what it's like. So
yeah, Critter says less is more, and I think I'm starting to go with that from now on.
Yes.
I'm over it.
I don't know how. I don't know if you do or whoever does the fake lashes. Like I would stick it to my eyeball, like literally. I don't have that coordination to be able to do that, and I don't like stuff coming at my eyes. I'm weird that way.
What's weird is actually I do wear lashes. I think it's kind of obvious I wear lashes all the time, but what's crazy now is the lashes part is so much easier than
really?
When you first start, it's like, oh, this feels uncoordinated, this is weird, but once you do it like every day for 2 weeks, that's the easiest part.
Oh, well, maybe I'll have to give it a whirl. You'll have to do a tutorial with me. That's what.
Actually, I've been wearing I know I'm getting into way too much makeup right now. I've been wearing strip lashes lately, but I actually prefer the clusters, and those are much easier. The problem with those is they tear out your real eyelashes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have eyelashes hardly to begin with, so I don't want to rip them out.
You don't want to go that route.
So, yeah, so
I know
I guess we'll let the guys come up, huh? I guess we'll have to, So I'll bring up Dego to the stage here. Well, I'm not sure if he's Dego might be running a few minutes late. So actually we'll go ahead and bring up 11 and we'll talk to him about his false lashes. And
11, did you get your false lashes on nice and clean today?
I did.
Good. It was a good makeup day for 11.
Yeah, it was good. Vampire lashes. Heels got to be 6 inches too.
Oh man.
Oh, that's so funny. So how was your day today, sir?
It was good. Without going into too much detail, I thought today was going to suck, actually. I was doing my taxes,
Oh.
and I thought it was going to end with me, throwing shit at the wall. Pretty much, taxes are never fun, but it actually wound up being much better than I expected. So that was
well,
good.
good. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, we like it
For
when taxes turn out better.
Yes.
Better than we
It was
expect.
a big surprise.
Whoa.
What else? I got my barbecue ready
Oh, I'll be
for
over.
the season.
That's so wild because last weekend weren't you guys like bundled up for a snowstorm, or was that 2 weekends ago?
No, like a week and a
Y'all
half
went
ago.
together
No,
after
we
that.
did. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. It was like in the mid 50s. Still like it's not really super warm out, but if the sun, you get a little sun in the 50s, I'll barbecue. It's fine. But no, I'm not barbecuing in the snow.
I just thought it was weird that
There are
But
people
I
who
know,
do.
yeah, no, there are people that do, and I love barbecue, but it won't be me. I'll be inside the nice cozy fireplace and with my eyelashes and
good. This weather's just been
Just keep
crazy
your eyelashes
lately.
away from the flame.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to be careful with that. I don't know. You've seen the cigar lighters that I use.
I know. It's
Not a good
like a
combo.
freaking blowtorch.
It really is. They really are. Not kidding.
That one night you lit that up, I actually leaned back, even though like I'm nowhere near you. I'm on the internet, and but you.
It's kind of
Like,
funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny you mentioned that. So, sometimes I don't go out too often as much as I used to, but if I go out with some of the people from work, some of the cigar bars or whatever, locations we go to. About a year ago, we were at a place, and I almost always have my cigars with me. So it's kind of funny. Like people actually say, like, "What am I?" They think I'm carrying like lunch codes with me because I carry like it's a little black box. I always have my cigars with me. Oh, always. So I'm smoking a cigar, and I was at an event, and this officer, it was an off-duty, police event. So this officer came up to me. I have no idea who he was, and
okay.
he's into cigarettes. So he's like, "Oh, do you have a light?" So now I only smoke cigars. I don't smoke cigarettes. So I gave him what you were just talking about there, my torch lighter. And he literally, he almost like lit his whole face on fire because he took this. I wasn't even thinking. Like I gave it to him, and he went to light it, and he had like a little beard too. He almost lit his whole face on fire. I was like, because those lighters are no joke. They can do some damage if you're not careful. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
yeah.
You Seahawks fan says you'd have to call 911 for your eyelashes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Well, I guess if you want to go ahead and read us in real quick before you do that, I do want to welcome
Sure.
everyone from all three channels. Uh, we are so glad that you're here with us. Thank you to all the mods and all of our teams who just we couldn't do what we do without you. And but yeah, so welcome on in, and we'll let one do his monologue here and say goodnight to his family. So go right ahead there, sir.
All right. Is it good to be alive in the den on a Sunday night?
Sure is.
Yeah.
Juliana, Jackson, and my beautiful wife. Love you guys always. All right. It was the summer of 1997, a season that should have been quiet. But history rarely whispers when it has other plans. Before flashing cameras, before the siren screamed through a Paris tunnel, before the world woke up to the news that the people's princess was gone, there was a story unfolding in plain sight. A story about two people trying, perhaps desperately, to outrun the machine. She was Diana, Princess of Wales, the most photographed woman on earth, a royal rebel who had stepped away from the palace walls yet could never escape their shadow. A woman adored by millions, but watched by thousands more. Every moment tracked, every relationship dissected, every smile turned into speculation. And then there was Dodi Fayed, son of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed, Hollywood producer, jet setter, a man who lived in a world of yachts, private islands, and flashing cameras. Two lives from entirely different worlds, yet for one unforgettable summer, their paths collided. It started quietly, a holiday invitation, a yacht in the Mediterranean, sun-drenched photographs that soon traveled across every newspaper, front page on Earth. Diana diving into blue water, Dodi beside her. The world watched, fascinated. Was it love, a summer romance, or something more complicated? Something that would pull two lives directly into the center of one of the most controversial deaths of the modern era. Because the moment Diana stepped onto that yacht, the clock had already started ticking. Paparazzi boats circled like sharks. Helicopters hovered above the sea. Photographers chased them through ports, airports, hotels. And with every photograph taken, the pressure grew. By late August 1997, the two arrived in Paris, a city known for romance. But that night, romance would collide with chaos. A speeding car, a swarm of photographers, a tunnel beneath the streets of Paris, and a crash that would shock the world. In the years that followed, questions refused to disappear. Was it simply a tragic accident? Or did something darker hide beneath the surface? Why were they chased so relentlessly? What decisions were made in those final hours? And why does the story still feel unfinished decades later? Tonight, on Devil's Advocates, we step back into that final summer. Not just the headlines, not just the tragedy, but the complicated story of two people who, for a brief moment in time, tried to live freely in a world that refused to let them. A princess escaping a crown, a man living in the shadow of immense power, and a relationship that would become forever tied to one of the most haunting nights in modern history. Because sometimes the truth isn't buried in the crash itself, sometimes it begins long before the tunnel. And tonight, we follow the timeline, the photographs, the decisions, the whispers, and the unanswered questions. This is Devil's Advocates, and tonight we reopen the last summer of Diana and Dodi. And with that, live from New York, it's Sunday night.
All right, thank you. That was awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
That was
good.
excellent.
That was good.
Excellent.
Do you guys remember where you were when you got the news that something happened to Diana and it was all over the screen of the accident? Do you remember what you were doing then? Because I do.
We're watching TV, weren't we? Yeah. Yeah, we were watching TV and they broke in and we couldn't it's one of those things you can't make sense of it like when you're seeing it, you know? Where were you guys?
I think I was on a gambling boat playing poker.
Classic 1-1.
Yeah. With your blowtorch and your no, I'm just kidding.
And
Hang
my
on, I'm gonna bring
eyelashes.
Dago
And
up.
my eyelashes. Yeah.
And your eyelashes, that's right. Dago, do you have your eyelashes? Hang on a second. I'm gonna bring Dago to the stage, everyone.
Yeah.
Ta-da! There you
Whoa.
Whoa.
go.
Hello.
Hello.
get
I hope
your
you got
milk
your
done?
eyelashes.
And whoa, yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Wonderful love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Dago's
Me-
late, you guys, because he also struggled with his eyelashes today.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just weren't
He had an
sticking.
eyelash emergency.
My excuse me, sorry. My makeup artist was not available today, so in turn I had to put my own on. So it's a struggle. I'm sorry.
I feel your pain.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Big struggle.
So
Good
Dago,
evening. How are you?
Dago, where were you at when you got the news that Princess Diana had been in an accident and passed away? Do you remember?
What was the exact year?
1997.
1997. Yeah.
97.
I was having my third child at that time, probably.
Mm.
Ah.
So you
1990. What month was it that she passed in?
It was
August.
August 31st.
August.
August 31st, 1997.
Yeah, actually, my third child had just been born 2 months before that, so I was taking care of a brand new newborn baby.
yeah.
Working at a private ambulance company. Trying to remember, I think I was sitting in the break room, well, the day room we called it at the ambulance company, watching TV or something. I think I swear we were watching like The Price is Right or something, and it just breaking news thing came through, and boom. So yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy how we remember some of the, when world news happens or crazy things that affect us or that we
Yeah.
feel them, we remember exactly what we were doing. I was 12 and I remember being in the living room with my mom watching the news on the TV and just kind of like sitting on edge, like waiting. And it's crazy, at 12, I had the wherewithal to know and to feel those feelings and to know that this was going to change the world and how the whole family was looked at and, just everything.
That's because you was
Yeah.
a smart one. That's why.
I was already into crime and stuff, so of
Yeah,
course
you
it got
told
my
me.
attention.
She told me when I first met her, she first came on my panel. She was 9 years old looking into the Charles
Yes.
Manson. And I was like,
Yeah.
am I sure I want to do this with her? She's like, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. She's awesome. Logan is amazing.
Charles
She's
Manson
very
and
smart. Yeah, very
Yep.
smart.
John
Yep.
Benet Ramsey.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Or wait,
John
was it
Benet
Manson?
Ramsey. Yeah.
Was
She's
it
in.
Manson,
She
Logan,
let.
that you said was 9, or was it Ramsey?
Yeah. No, I think she said Manson, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was
Yeah.
reading Helter Skelter at 9 for
That's what
shits
you
and
said.
gigs.
Yeah.
That's wild, but that's awesome at the same time. 9 years old, and you have. That's okay, guys. I was weird when I was little. I was 9 reading Flowers in the Attic. Figure that out.
Oh,
They were good books. They were good books.
Yeah, but for a
that
9-year-old,
is
What?
they were a little racy,
Flowers in the Attic is a crazy story. Crazy.
BC
Yeah.
Andrews, yeah.
Oh
BC,
my god.
BC Andrews,
Yep.
their stories are, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. She's right though. Like, you do remember when 9/11 hit. I remember I was at work. At one of my second jobs I was working at a car dealership at that time, doing detailing work and stuff. And I remember sitting in the upstairs, was the lobby, drinking coffee on a break, and the news broke. We were watching the news. I was watching the first one when I walked up there, had already hit. And the second one, as I was standing there, I watched it hit, and I literally flipped out, and went and called the creature. And I told her, I'm coming to pick you up. We're going to pick up the kids, and we are going home and not leaving because we're under attack. I remember that day specifically. I was freaking out.
Yep.
Yep.
I was in
You're
high
right.
school and I was in history class actually when we were watching it on the TV.
It was scary as hell, wasn't it?
It was. Yep.
I just
Yeah.
remember the feeling was like this is gonna like change the world, like you said. It's world like we're going into a war or some weird shit. It was crazy.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Because that's what it felt like. Yeah.
Yeah.
the
I
Diana
was
thing.
in I was in college, upstate, watching on TV when that happened.
Yeah.
I was the
then
Diana thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the Diana thing didn't affect me as it affected me, but not as much as 9/11 did because
Yeah,
at that point I was still young. 97.
Right.
I was
It was like 28.
very young. Like
Yeah.
23,
Yeah.
22, 23, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just still had that younger mentality. It didn't affect me as much until I got older. So
Oh, an interesting point. Just
Oh, with Diana.
not to get too gloomy, but no, I was not working for the police department during 9/11, but I joined the police department in 2003.
I'm sorry,
But
I
the precinct that I work at right now is literally 10 minutes from the World Trade Center, or I should say the Freedom Tower. So there are many officers and supervisors that they responded from my precinct, and many of them subsequently have gotten sick and gotten all kinds of cancers and all kinds of stuff. It's horrible.
I know. Yep. But
yeah,
because they said
I was just gonna
say they said the air was clean.
Yeah. No.
no way,
No.
no way. No, we all knew what that was. That was horrifying. Horrifying.
Yeah.
I remember when like we everybody here put a list out for people because they thought they were going to need firefighters and police officers and EMS workers and all that. So I signed on. The creature wasn't happy with me, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. I want to help, And they never took us. They took people from Southern Ohio instead, and there was just so many people. It was so. It really that one really affected me deeply, guys. It did.
Yeah.
Still does.
Yep.
Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about Diana.
I was just gonna say, I actually think
that's
things
okay.
like Diana affected me more than 9/11. I just remember this really strong feeling of, I feel like I should be doing something, but there's nothing to do, and all you can do is just sit there and kind of gawk at the TV. Like
that's hard, isn't it?
A feeling of helplessness. Like I should be helping, but I can't.
Very hard. Very hard.
And especially, Diana was not. How do I say this? It almost felt like to many people that she belonged to the world. Like I realized that England, of course, was her home country and so forth, but when people called her the princess of the people, to me, she was universal. Like she was, she mattered to so many people around the globe.
That's true.
So, yeah. And so, like you're saying, Logan, I felt so bad. And this was before like the internet had really taken off. So it wasn't like today where I could get on Facebook. I have friends from all over the world. I could have got on Facebook and said to them, hey, I'm so sorry for your loss, to all my people, my friends in the UK and, Australia, so there was nowhere really for that to go much at that point.
Yes.
And
don't get me wrong, guys. It did affect me. It just didn't affect me like 9/11 did. I was just kind of like, wow, how and why, as a young person, like, why did that happen?
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it.
Right.
Sorry, Lenny. The creature's my first wife, for anybody that didn't get that. I'm sorry. I forget there's some people I'm not used to.
I figured it was something like that.
Yeah, my apologies, you guys. Anyway.
I think maybe the difference with 9/11 and Diana is, with Diana, she was so relatable and we had a sense of like extreme sadness. But with 9/11, we had a sense of sadness, but a huge sense of fear as well.
Yeah, because if something can happen to her, it can happen to anybody. That's that's true.
Yeah, truly. And yes, for Chriser, I do remember ICQ. I do. I am that old that I remember ICQ.
Oh wow!
It was a precursor to MySpace. It
It
was
had
it
the
was like back, yeah.
Oh wow.
it had that
Yeah.
sound. It
The
didn't have
chat
that sound. It
room.
was like, uh-oh,
Yes.
uh-oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used ICQ.
Yep. I remember that. Oh my gosh! As soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, whatever.
Logan's probably like, you guys are dinosaurs. You
Yeah. We're from back in the dial-up days. Sound
Oh, I was on
like the phone
dial-up.
line was,
I was on
yeah.
dial-up.
You were born in
Dial-up.
Instant Messenger, anybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
You got mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
When
the
Harry met Sally.
Um
Yeah. So
yeah, so you were born in the 80s then, right, Logan?
Oh, yes. The
Okay.
best time to be born and
The
live.
best decade in ever forever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
best decade.
definitely was. I would go back and relive the 80s forever if I could. Truly and
Absolutely.
honestly. Every bit of it. As
Yep.
bad as
How
we
old is 1-1? I'm 25. This was asked the other day.
Yeah. Believe that one, guys, and I'll sell you a condo right here online. Anyway. That was a good point though. Like, where were you when Princess Diana died, and how did you? That's a great question to put out there for this. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a bunch of people in the chat that are saying, and let me tell you, I love our UK crowd that comes in here and shares their firsthand stories
Yes.
because of that happening, of course, in their country. So I love that we have, our neighbors from across the pond who come and tell us their stories regarding any of our cases. But I am finding it especially really cool that you
They
guys are
were
sharing your stories. Yeah.
they were devastated, and I mean
Oh,
devastated.
oh my gosh.
I remember seeing reactions and news reports of people that
Yeah.
were. I think she had a memorial that was set around the area that the accident had happened, and there were people bawling their eyes
Hmm.
out on their knees, putting flowers, and I they were just devastated, which I understand because, like Logan said, the first time we talked about it, she was the people's princess. Period. Like
Yeah.
everybody loved her. Everybody loved her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
absolute,
So
absolute.
where did
So
Yep.
we leave off last week with Princess Diana? Had she had her kids yet, and
yeah,
she was married,
Yes,
had her
we
kids?
we were
were.
starting to jump
Yeah.
into the Dodi thing. I think is where we
Yeah.
were getting ready to go
Right.
into.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, but one thing I do want to mention is before Dodi, there
Hmm.
was Hesat
Yes,
Khan.
yes, that is true.
So, so for those who don't know who he is, as far as I know, he has not passed. He was a cardiologist that Diana had met when she went to the hospital to see one of her friends who was recovering from surgery, and they met and fell in love, and they had about a relationship for around 2 years. They saw each other in secret, and I mean secret.
Yeah.
Like, uh, this did not get out until some years later. Um, so, and he was just a very down to earth person, very intelligent man,
Yeah.
and yeah, he was a cardiologist. So, and just one of those things that took them both completely by surprise.
95
So,
through 97 is right.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right.
yep, yeah, yep.
I have some stuff on him too, which was very interesting. Very interesting. He was actually, yeah, you're right. There was something else he did too. Oh, he was a cardiologist, and he did lung surgeries too, which was pretty fascinating to me. So very
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he did that. That's
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
intelligent
Yes,
man.
yes,
But he ended the relationship, which is interesting.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, he did, which is
Well,
That's what
I think,
I
yeah. I
mean,
think
that's what I
his
found.
main thing was that he just didn't want all the publicity. Like, she was
Right.
used to all that, and and so he just didn't want it. I mean, uh Her name just went right out of my head. Her butler, Burrell.
Paul
He
Burrell.
would, he would bring him to see her in the back of his car under a blanket. Like that's
Mhm.
how he would smuggle people in and out to
Yeah.
see Diana.
Very wild.
And so, yeah, he just did not, and it was a shame because they really were deeply in love at the time,
hmm Yeah, and I think he's still alive. The last I looked, um, I think he married a young woman in 2006, and then in 08 they divorced, and then I think he married another one who I think he might still be married to. Um, hold on, Somi Khan is who the current wife was.
Okay.
And she was also a heart surgeon. So
Oh, interesting. I remember Princess Diana referring to Khan as the love of her life.
yes,
And
Yes.
Mr. Wonderful, she would call him Mr. Wonderful.
because
So
he
she had
treated
really
her.
strong feelings for him.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is because these men treated Diana as she should have been treated from day one by Charles. Okay, and
Right.
they probably could have not even been that. I mean, and I'm not saying they weren't, but they probably could have not even been that great at guys. But she was so used to being treated like dirt from Charles, and you know what I mean. So
That's a
that
good
Yeah.
point.
it's sad that, but still, it's good that she was able to have these relationships to be able to see how she should have been treated her whole life. So I'll say
Yeah, I
that.
couldn't
Yeah.
imagine knowing that she passed with only knowing Charles as a significant other and the way he treated her and his whole family treated her. It's good to know that she felt love and was able to love somebody who loved her back, or she felt they loved her back before she passed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think like from what I was reading from different people connected to her, it doesn't seem to me that she was really in love with Dodi. It was kind of
No.
like it was kind of like a summer fling, and some people
was-
close to her said that she really, I mean, not saying obviously we don't know, they died, right? But she really was not looking to get married. So
Now the book, there's a book that came out, and it was about, I think it was Khan. It was, I can't remember who wrote it. It was called Her Last Love. I think that's the name of it. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me 100% from what I read, because it was last week when I read this, but I think the book was about Khan being Diana's last love before she passed. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this
Excuse me.
this is him. And yeah, they
look good together.
yeah. It's a shame that
Charles.
he just, and I see some people in the chat talking about Diana, and nobody's perfect, and we know that, but she certainly didn't deserve what happened.
No.
Yeah,
So
and I can't say enough. Like, of course, none of us are perfect, but again, I've used the term many times since we've been covering. She really had a tormented soul, and for someone who has such an internal tormented soul, and she was so giving on the she really was a good-hearted person. It wasn't, you see a lot of, it goes on, and it's always going to happen. I'm not saying that that it's not possible for someone to be good-hearted. It is, but there are so many fake people in the people want a photo op. They want to, they want their picture, in the magazines. Or, oh, look, I'm helping children. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It wasn't about that for her. Like, she legitimately, authentically,
right.
really cared.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what she was doing there. This is someone, the Princess of Wales. She was married into the royal family.
Yeah.
And at the time when she was, during that whole process, AIDS was like a new thing going on, and she didn't care.
Right.
She like was like breaking the walls down.
Shaking
It takes
people's
a
hands
special,
and all that stuff because
takes a special person to be able to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and
I
when
think
her and Charles got divorced, her two main focuses was I'm going to focus on my humanitarianism work and I'm going to focus on being
Yes.
a hands-on mom to my children. And that was
Bingo.
it. That was her focus
Yeah.
of her life.
And
That's
that
because that's who she was.
yeah, absolutely. And right before that happened, as Logan was stating, I think it was in 95. All of this stuff had come out about their extramarital affairs. Okay. And where BBC put out different shows, I think they're like current affairs and stuff like that. And it came out that where Diana did interviews, she had spoken about her own and Charles's extramarital affairs, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And at that point,
right.
I think is where it kicked in. There were some accusations made saying she had borderline personality disorders and this and that. They brought out all of like trying to say she had all these mental health issues, which the bulimia stuff, eating disorders, everybody knew about that kind of stuff. So and so forth. She never denied any of it, which was, that's hard to do. But then the Queen herself, that's where it got interesting for me. It was the interview when that interview came out from, I think it was a Current Affairs from BBC. On December 20th, Buckingham Palace announced that the Queen had sent letters to Charles and Diana. She sent letters to them, the Queen did, advising them to divorce. Because it was making the royal family, the palace, it was making it look bad. And you had to carry that royal look. You know what I mean?
Originally, Diana really didn't want the divorce. She wanted to say separated.
Yes.
But she didn't actually want a divorce because she felt that it would have such a negative effect on the kids.
Yep.
On the boys.
That's
but the Queen is the one that actually pushed the issue and said, no, this needs to happen.
Yeah, and then I think it was at that time John Major was the prime minister. He backed the Queen and said, and which blows my mind that people have the
Tony
ability.
Blair.
I thought it was John Major. The prime minister was John Major at that time. Hold on.
That's right. You're right. You're right.
Oh, okay.
You're
I'm
right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
But yeah,
you're right.
But
You're
how
right.
it blows my mind, you guys, that like people like the prime minister, the Queen can get involved in people's personal lives. You know what I mean? Because of the way it looks, makes the country look according to them. It's all about appearance, which is really sad to me. But again, and then I guess they sat down and they had 2 weeks of talks and then decided this is what's going to happen. So I don't know where you want to go from there. If you guys have something prepared on your side of things.
I had a few things. But it's. I mean, you probably have some of the same stuff. It's just, about where she met Dodi and all that stuff.
Well, she knew Dodi for a while.
I know.
I talked about that
1986. Yeah. At the polo match at Windsor Great Park. Yeah.
She knew him for a long, long time, which is wild to me.
Right.
Yeah. And he.
Go ahead, Robin.
I was just going to say he had earlier successes. He was a oh my gosh, film producer and that kind of thing. He had early successes, like I believe it was Chariots of Fire.
Yes.
But by the time he and Diana got together, he was pretty much just considered kind of like a socialite, like a playboy kind of. He really wasn't in the film industry too much at that point. So.
Right. Well, then I think, like I said, after the 2 weeks of talks, Charles formally agreed to the divorce in a written statement soon thereafter that happened. In February of 96, Diana announced her agreement after negotiations with Charles and representatives of the Queen, irritating Buckingham Palace by issuing her own announcement. Again, as we've been talking about for 3 weeks now going on, Diana always bucked the system and did things her way. She did what she wanted to do. You know what I mean? Which I agree with that. She should be able to do that. It should be her decision and her absolute choice alone. It shouldn't be anybody else's, but it is what it is. So,
right.
And she should be able to tell her truth. And
Yes.
so I
Yes.
really like the fact that she did an interview with BBC after their divorce, and
Yep.
she said out loud to every country in the world, there were 3 people in our marriage regarding to Camilla.
Yep.
And I love that
Mhm.
she did that because to me it said, first of all, I'm telling my truth, but I'm standing 10 toes down and I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be strong and I'm going to tell my truth and I'm going to be here for my kids. And that's what I'm going to do. I don't care what they think of me about what I say.
Yeah, absolute integrity, Critter. 100%. And yes, absolutely, Logan. So then when where was I at? Diana announced her agreement after negotiations, like I said, February of 96. She announced her agreement after negotiations with Charles and representatives of the Queen. You had to negotiate with, the mother of your husband to be able to do this. But again, which
Mhm.
again irritated Buckingham Palace by issuing her own announcement of the divorce agreement and its terms in July of 96, which you're not supposed to talk about that there. So it's okay. And again, the couple agreed on the terms of their divorce. This followed shortly after Diana's act. Now, this was big. I never knew about this until I read this. It was really, followed shortly after Diana's accusation that Charles' personal assistant, Tiggy Leg Bork, I've heard about her a lot, had aborted his child. Um, After which Leg Bork instructed her solicitor, Peter Carter Ruck, to demand an apology from Diana. Diana's private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, resigned shortly before the story broke, and later writing that Diana had exulted in accusing Leg Bork of having had an abortion. The rumors of Bork's Jesus, I can't talk. I'm sorry, guys. The rumors of Leg Bork's
Okay.
alleged abortion were apparently spread by Martin Bashir, who we all know from BBC from the interview from
Mhm.
before, as a means to gain his panorama interview with Diana. And the decree nisi was granted on July 15th of 96. The divorce was finalized August 28th of 96, and Diana was represented by Anthony Julius in the case. The couple shared custody of their children. She received a lump sum settlement of 17 million, is it pounds? I
Yeah,
think,
pounds.
yeah, 17 million pounds, which is equivalent to $40 million in 2023. As well as 400 million or 400,000 per year. I guess it's like an alimony thing. Um, the couple signed a confidentiality agreement that prohibited them from discussing the details of the divorce of their married life days before. Letters patent were issued with general rules to regulate royal titles after divorce. Diana lost the style Her Royal Highness and instead was styled Diana, Princess of Wales. As the mother of the prince expected to one day ascend to the throne. She was still considered to be a member of the royal family and was mother of the prince expected to want. I just read that. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm sorry. Where'd it go? Royal family and was accorded the same precedence that she enjoyed during her marriage. The queen reportedly wanted to let Diana continue to use the style of Royal Highness after her divorce, but Charles had insisted on removing it. Crybaby. Prince William was reported to have reassured his mother, "Don't worry, mummy. I will give it back to you one day when I am king." That's cute. Almost a year before, according to Tina Brown, Philip had warned Diana, "If you don't behave, my girl, we'll take your title away." And she, interesting, interesting.
That was
Oh,
weird.
and you
Yeah.
cut out after you said she.
Yeah.
You
What
were like
did you hear?
really frozen.
You
Oh, she said,
froze.
I'm sorry. Almost a year will take your title away. She is said to have replied to Philip, "My title is a lot older than yours, Philip." Interesting. I love it. And now after her divorce, Diana had retained the double apartment in the north side of Kensington Palace that she had shared with Charles since the first year of their marriage. The apartment remained her home until her death the following year. She also moved her offices to Kensington, but was permitted to use the state apartments at St. James Palace. And it's interesting to me because Charles didn't want Diana to have anything. He didn't want her to have the respect of the people. He didn't want this, that, and the Queen did. That's his mother.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting because it shows me that, and at least in my opinion, that Elizabeth respected Diana to some aspect and knew that her son was a whiny ass crybaby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
in my
and
opinion.
yeah, the queen would appreciate in a lot of senses a strong woman because she always had to be
Yes.
um and so and maybe as she grew, as with in many cases you gain wisdom as you grow older,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
maybe she just recognized that it wasn't going to help the monarchy to
Right.
have eh, Charles be spiteful. It wasn't going to serve him whenever he became king. So to
Right.
try to protect him a little bit and protect the monarchy itself, she probably felt that a more conciliatory tone would be better than being vindictive. So,
Agreed. Agreed. Very good point. Um, in a book published in 2003, I'm sorry, Paul Burrell claimed that Diana's private letters had revealed that her brother, Lord Spencer, had refused to allow her to live at Althorpe, which is
Hmm.
where they were raised at, I guess. That was the original
right,
family home. So,
right.
despite her request, the allegations, and because she wanted to get away from them, I believe. I remember reading something a long time ago about that. Like she did not want to be part of that circle anymore, and she wanted to do her own thing because she was independent, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's kind of interesting to me. Um, I don't know anybody. I don't want to take over the whole thing, but anybody else want to add anything before we go forward, or
No, I didn't have anything at the moment.
no?
No.
Oh,
No,
Logan.
you're good.
Okay. Excuse me. The allegations were proven to be untrue as Spencer received legal apologies from different newspapers, including the Times in 2021, which admitted that having considered his sister's safety and in line with police advice, the Earl offered the Princess of Wales a number of properties, including Wormleighton Manor, the Spencer's family original ancestral home. However, he could not offer Garden House Cottage on the Althorpe estate to Diana as the home was intended for a member of staff. Diana was also given
Oh,
yeah, that makes sense then. Um,
yeah, yeah.
Diana was also given an allowance to run her private office, which was
Mm.
responsible for her charity work. Like Logan was saying, when this happened, she started focusing on all that stuff. Her royal duties, but from September of 96 onward, she was required to pay her bills, like her own bills, and any expenditure incurred by her on her behalf. Furthermore, she continued to have access to the jewelry that she had received during her marriage and was allowed to use the air transport of the British royal family and government. She was also offered security by Metropolitan Police's Royalty Protection Group, which she benefited from while traveling with her sons, but had refused it in the final years of her life in an attempt to distance herself again from the royal family. As I stated, she was trying to be her own person. She didn't want to be connected
Mhm.
to them anymore and carry
Right.
that stigma of, which, and I respect that highly. That's a huge thing to me. So, um, in attempt to distance the royal family. After her death, it was revealed that Diana had been in discussion with major successor Tony Blair, um, about a special role that would provide a government platform for her campaigns and charities to make her capable of endorsing Britain's interests overseas. And see, I always wondered,
Wow.
Hmm.
right? I always wondered because she was, even though she wasn't supposed to, but she spoke politics with people. She got into politics.
Mhm.
She was looked down upon because of it, because, you're in the royal family, you're not supposed to do this, but she did. I always wondered that if she would have still stayed with us, if she would have been a political figure maybe over there at some point, in her life. You know what I mean?
would not doubt it.
Yeah.
Right.
High chance.
Yeah.
Very wild.
Wouldn't that have been something if she would have wound up being prime minister one day? I mean,
I believe she could have been amazing at
I
that.
think she could have done it.
Who was
Yeah.
it that was, I mean, was it Margaret Thatcher? She was a prime minister at
Yeah.
one point.
Yeah.
You know, so why
Yeah.
couldn't Diana have done it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That
Sure.
would have been amazing. But I could see Diana being, the prime minister or something, because she knew politics. She followed politics. She was very interested in it, even though they tried to force her away from it. Very
Right.
interesting to me. She retained close friendships with several celebrities, including Elton John. Elton John loved her.
Yeah.
I always, I always listen to him talk about her all the time. Liza Minnelli, George Michael, Michael Jackson, and Gianni Versace, whose funeral she attended in 1997. She dated the British Pakistani heart surgeon, again, like you said, Hassan Khan, who was called the love of her life by many of her close friends after her death. She is what the hell? And she is said to have described him as Mr. Wonderful. In May of 96, Diana visited Lahore upon invitation of Imran Khan, a relative of Assad, and visited the latter's family in secret. Khan was intensely private, and the relationship was conducted in secrecy, as again Robin said, with Diana lying to members of the press who questioned her about it. The relationship lasted almost 2 years, with differing accounts of who ended it. I saw that he ended it because he didn't like the press and the cameras and all this kind of stuff that were always around, and that he had to keep it secret. That's what I read a long time back. But
Yeah. Yeah. He had called her the day before, though, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, to try to get back together, you know.
I like I said, and she says if that was the love of her life, like I could see that they had a really good relationship, although it was secret. But yeah, they were truly in love, from what I understood.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I need new glasses. It's so bad, you guys. Again, their relationship lasted almost 2 years, with differing accounts of who ended it. She is said to have spoken of her distress when he ended their relationship. However, according to Khan's testimony at the inquest into her death, it was Diana who ended their relationship the summer of 1997. So there's that. So that's how that ended up, being right before she started seeing Dodi, per se. Again, anything you guys
Yeah.
want to throw in here anywhere at all? Logan?
Yeah. I got some Dodi stuff, but
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's where basically the
when
divorce
you're
stuff
done.
went down. On you go, sir.
So I guess like we were talking previously, right? So Diana and Dodi, they first met in 1986 at a polo match at Windsor Great Park, where Dodi's team was playing against Diana's husband, then Prince Charles. At that time, both were involved in complicated personal relationships. Charles and Diana's marriage was already under strain, and Dodi married model Suzanne Gregard. I don't know how to say it.
Hold on.
Regardless.
Let me correct something real fast, Mom. I'm sorry, and I'm not being mean. I just don't want you guys thinking something. Candle in the Wind was written for Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Norma Jean is Marilyn Monroe's real name. So I just didn't want you guys thinking something different.
Yeah.
My apologies for interrupting you.
No problem.
Right. No, but he did his own version for Diana.
He did another version for Diana. That's true.
Right. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
So here in I guess again 1986. So Dodi married model Suzanne Gregard, however you pronounce it, that year, but the marriage ended within months. We go kind of forward to summer of 1997. The relationship begins. After her 1996 divorce from Prince Charles, Diana became friendly with Dodi's father, billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed. July 1997, Diana accepted an invitation to vacation with the Fayed family in St. Tropez, France, bringing her sons Prince William and Prince Harry. During this trip aboard the family yacht, Jonicle, is that how you pronounce? I don't know. It looks like Jonicle. Diana and Dodi began a romantic relationship. In August 1997, romance under global media attention. Paparazzi captured photos of Diana and Dodi together in the Mediterranean, confirming their relationship publicly. August, this is, I don't know. I guess we could probably look it up quick. It probably can't be that hard to find. August 10th, 1997, a famous paparazzi photo of the couple kissing on the yacht ran in tabloids with the headline, "The Kiss." So I don't know. If anyone has that. I didn't download that picture, but
I don't believe I do.
Yeah. And then in late August, the couple continued vacationing on the Mediterranean and spending time at Dodi's homes while media attention intensified. This is kind of where we go into the slippery slope here. I'll mention it. This is where the engagement rumors come up. Dodi's father later claimed the couple looked at an engagement ring in Monte Carlo, though this claim has been disputed. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, with that.
This is that picture that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
Awesome that you found that.
Yeah. Yeah. So then this is just giving a brief synopsis of the course of events here. So I think this was like a 6 or 7 week period. Okay, with Dodi, this wasn't a long thing going on. August 30th, 1997, a Paris trip. Diana and Dodi flew to Paris on the Fayed family's private jet. They stayed at the Ritz Paris, which was owned by Dodi's father. And that night they ate dinner at the hotel after canceling a restaurant reservation because paparazzi were waiting outside. And then from there, there's the crash and stuff, but we're not getting into that right now. A little more stuff, I guess. So still I have I don't know if anyone else, if you have anything earlier, but it says the earliest documented intersection between Diana and Dodi was at that 1986 polo match.
Right.
So I don't know if, that's what I have. So the contextual landscape at this time, Diana was still married to Charles III. Their marriage was already deteriorating. And what else we have here? Social circles both existed within overlapping elite European social networks, royal circles, international billionaire families, high-profile charity and polo events. However, their interaction was minimal. Dodi's background: Dodi lived a luxury jet set lifestyle. As Robin said, he was a film producer. He was associated with films like Chariots of Fire through his father's company.
Right.
Frequent presence in Monaco, Paris, and Hollywood. He's known for expensive gifts and extravagant romantic gestures. Diana's situation during the late 1980s, early 1990s, Diana was increasingly isolated inside the royal family. Media scrutiny of her marriage intensified. Her emotional life became public through interviews and leaked recordings, as we've spoken about. Investigators later noted that Dodi and Diana were not long-term acquaintances. Their true relationship did not begin really until 1997. The post-divorce, so here 1996, 1997, a little more info. So what we were just talking, Dago was saying she lost the title, Her Royal Highness. She remained Princess of Wales. She received a settlement estimated at around, I think this is 17 million.
Mm-hmm.
It says.
Right.
And then I got the psychological phase. This period is crucial for understanding Diana's relationship decisions. So again, like we've covered the past few weeks, she was emotionally independent for the first time since age of 20. She's attempting to
Right.
rebuild her personal life, and she's seeking privacy, but still under extreme media attention. So her global role, to reiterate again, Diana pivoted heavily into humanitarian activism, as Logan spelled out earlier. Major efforts included anti-landmine campaigns, AIDS awareness, and international hospital work. Her visit to Angola in early 1997, walking through a minefield in protective gear, became one of the most iconic humanitarian images in modern history. Media pressure, despite leaving the monarchy, paparazzi surveillance remained relentless, as we know. And again, Diana was arguably the most photographed woman in the world. Analytical insight into this. By 1997, Diana was navigating a desire for emotional freedom, continued media exploitation, and new relationships under global scrutiny. This environment set the stage for her connection with Dodi. So here we are in July 1997. Mohammed Al Fayed's role, he invited Diana and her sons to state of Prince William, Prince Harry, to vacation aboard his yacht Jonical. Why this matters, why this invitation matters, this trip served multiple purposes: privacy, security, elite Mediterranean social circle. But it also introduced Diana and Dodi into prolonged proximity. Early relationship dynamics. Witnesses on the yacht reported long private conversations, jet ski outings, late night dinners. Their relationship transitioned quickly from friendship to romance. There was a media explosion. Paparazzi began circling the yacht. Photos soon leaked showing Diana relaxing with Dodi, intimate moments on the deck. One photograph became globally famous, the kiss, as you just showed before. This confirmed the relationship publicly. The analytical insight into this: historians believe Mohammed Al Fayed encouraged the relationship. He saw it as a historic alliance between Diana and his family. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Do you guys? I just thought of something that I probably should have said earlier. Do you want?
Go ahead.
We give them a little bit of insight into who Dodi was, so that they understand who he was too.
Sure.
Okay. I have that if you guys want me to, or if you go on and
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead. Jump in.
Logan, did you?
I'm mostly I'm just mostly talking about her, like him with Diana and stuff. Yeah. If you have a little more background into Dodi, go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, we should probably explain who he is. That way, it just
that would be good. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Did you have anything, Logan, before I went into that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not so. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, guys. Dodi Fayed was born in Alexandria, Egypt, on the 15th of April of 1955. He was the eldest child of Muhammad Al Fayed. I'm sorry, I never say that right. Who later became the owner of Harrods, I think I'm saying that correct, department store. Harrods, thank you, Robin. Fulham Football Club and the Hotel Ritz Paris, which is what one was talking about earlier. Fayed's mother, Samira Khashoggi, was a Saudi author. There you go, Robin. She was an author. She was a daughter of Mohammed Khashoggi and sister of Saudi billionaire arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi. She and her brother were first cousins of the late Washington Post Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was assassinated in the Audi. I'm sorry, the Audi. Jesus, there you go. The Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul in 2018. Fayed had 4 half siblings from his father's second marriage, Dahani Wathan, Omar, Camilla Karam, and Jasmine Fayed. And Fayed was a student at College St. Mark in Alexandria before attending the Institut La Rose in Rolle, Switzerland. He also attended the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. After completing his education, he worked as an attaché at the United Arab Emirates Embassy in London.
Emirates.
Sorry. Emirates.
Yeah.
Through his family production company, which we've already heard this a couple times now, but real quick. Allied Stars, Fayed was an executive producer for the films Chariots of Fire, Breaking Glass, FX, and its sequel, FX2, Hook, and The Scarlet Letter, which I didn't know he did those other ones. And also was an executive creative consultant for FX, the series. He also worked for his father on marketing for Harrods. In 86, Fayed married model Susan Gregard. They divorced 8 months later. According to her memoir, Babylon Confidential, Claudia Christian had an on-again, off-again romance with Fayed. In 97, Fayed reportedly became engaged to American model Kelly Fisher. With money from his father, he bought a house in Malibu, California, for Fisher and himself. In the summer of 97, actress Tracy Lind accused Fayed of abuse, saying that he once threatened her with a 9mm Beretta and that he referred to her by the nickname Bruisey. Weird. In 97, Fayed became romantically involved with Diana, Princess of Wales, after entertaining her on his yacht, Cujo. Wow, that's a name for a boat. Okay.
Yeah.
Fisher learned of
Yeah,
Fayed's
Jesus.
relationship. That's crazy.
It is. It really is.
Jesus. Fisher learned of Fayed's relationship with Diana only after seeing paparazzi photos of the two embracing. Fisher announced that she was filing a breach of contract suit against him, saying a breach of contract. Wow. That he had led her emotionally all the way up to the altar and abandoned her when they were almost there. And that he threw their love away in a callous way with no regard for her whatsoever. Fayed denied that he was ever engaged to Fisher. Fisher dropped the lawsuit shortly after Fayed's death. Interesting. So that gives you guys a little bit of insight into who Dodi was. I just realized that we've talked all about Diana and nobody probably had any clue, if you didn't, of who he was and what he was. So
Right. And it is important to know. So thank you
Yeah, yeah.
very much. You're talking about the contract. Well, that marriages were called a contract.
yeah.
And there
Yeah.
was a thing that if you back out of marrying, I mean, especially in their kind of circles and royal circles and so forth, if you back out without, soon enough notice, because you got to figure way back then to put on a ceremony like that, the expense that would have to be put out.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So they had to, I mean, you had to pay up if you
Yeah.
didn't end up getting married. So yeah, today we don't think of it in those terms. Most people, us commoners, if we decide not to get married, we don't get married. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. So that really is the basis of Dodi. Okay.
Right.
And then, it goes from there into what happened, sadly.
Right.
Very sadly.
And I know there's been a lot of back and forth about, was she seeing Dodi just to make Hassat jealous? There's a lot of people who say
Yes.
that was one of the reasons that she decided to date Dodi.
Right.
I just think that all the way around, the monarchy was not happy that she was seeing anyone with any kind of Muslim heritage at all. I don't think that that was something that they, you
Her
know,
mother, yeah,
and especially Diana was considering for Hassad. She was seriously, according to some of her closest uh, people, considering converting.
yeah.
So I'm sure that that would not have flown at all.
And Diana's mother was
No.
highly, highly, highly against. Um, in an article I read, her mother was highly against them being together, guys. Which is
Yeah.
Yeah. And with everything that she endured, at that point, I think she would do, I'm sure she knew, the monarchy was against it. She would do it just to spite them.
sure,
Just
sure.
Right.
throw, you know, throw the finger up at them. Like,
Yeah,
well, too bad.
basically.
But I do think it was widely thought by the public that the doctor was a decent person, like that he would treat
Oh,
her
yeah.
Yeah.
well. And,
Yeah.
I think he
Yes.
was highly
Yes.
liked within the people. So I think it was a big thought from a lot of the people that paid attention to them in that time was that she might have been doing it just to kind of get back at him or be a distraction from their breakup, things like that with when she
Right.
got with Dodi. A lot of people thought it was just pretty much a summer fling and that there was nothing to it. So it kind of sucks
Yeah.
that
Yep.
we'll never know, like maybe
No,
it
we
was just a
won't. Right.
fling, and was she going to go back to the doctor because she realized that he is the one for her and that she should convert?
I
And
mean, I
Well,
think
he
Dodi.
did
I think
call her
Dodi
the
was
day
gonna
beforehand.
push. Yeah. Right. I think Dodi was gonna try to, push more, but I don't. From the people who were close to her. There's some quotes from her. I think she said, what did she say? She wanted to get married like getting a rash or something. She had some weird quote that she said. So
Yeah.
she wasn't she she may, there's photos of her kissing Dodi, and I'm sure she had a great time with him, but I don't think to me it doesn't seem like marriage was in her horizon with Dodi at that
I
time.
think
It doesn't seem like it to me.
I think she probably would have married Hassad. If
Yeah.
if the royal family would have stayed out of it.
There.
They, according to Burrell, they were just that serious, but he didn't want obligations that he knew if he were to marry Diana, he would be drawn into, there would be certain things he would have had to have done
Right.
and so forth. And that it was just that he wanted his practice. He wanted to continue that, and being with her, especially marriage, would have just totally derailed a lot of his plans for himself that way with his career.
But it is interesting, though, Robin, that he did contact her the day
Yep.
before, which is weird to me, but not. And there's rumors that were flying around. I think it was Michael Cole, who was Fayed's used to be a spokesman, said that the couple had become engaged before their death. I don't know that I believe that. I can't see
No.
Diana. He may have tried to do that, but I can see her saying,
yeah,
"No,
It may,
I'm not."
yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, he may have been trying to push it. And I
Right.
know, yeah, I
Right.
actually have that. I have that here. I was gonna mention, Dodi was showing her all kinds of gifts, jewelry, designer clothing, expensive vacations. A ring was purchased at however you say it, Ripasi Jewelers in Monte Carlo. And there are reports that the couple discussed marriage. However, 2008 British inquest we're gonna talk about that in another episode. I have all the info on that inquest. They
Well, I
found
think
no conclusive proof that Diana intended to marry Dodi. So,
I don't.
friends. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think Dodi's father was the one that was pushing this marriage
Yeah.
between them, like heavily pushing it. But
And he
Yeah,
was
well,
probably
yeah,
pushing
yeah.
it though because she was a good look for Dodi,
of
not
course,
the other way
yeah,
around.
yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That would have been a real major feather in their family's cap
Yeah,
if Dodi
Absolutely.
would have been
definitely.
able to marry Diana.
And it would
Absolutely.
Like
get
I
their
said,
family's foot in the door in other
Yeah,
areas
yep,
that
of
could
course.
benefit them, and that was big.
Definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
bingo.
And that is a very sad reality of it is so hard in that kind of position to know who, all she wanted was to be loved for herself, the woman that she was, not as some kind of bargaining chip or a prize to be won. And anyone in her position or any royalty, even like your higher up, politicians, celebrities, whatever, you always have that in the back of your mind. Do they really love me for me, not just my position, my fame, fortune, whatever?
And that's what
And
Muhammad wanted. He wanted to be connected to the
yeah,
royals. That's all he wanted. And that's
Hmm.
why he was pushing his son. You marry her, you marry her, you marry her. That'll be perfect for our family, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of sickening to me because, again, it would have been just like what happened with Charles. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing that, but sorry. Same thing that happened, almost like an arranged marriage. That's not,
Yeah.
sure,
and Diana's already been through that. Okay.
right.
And it's very sad. And if it would have happened, which I don't see her doing it. I don't. So I thought that
No,
was wild when I read
and
that.
and then I just had just the last bit here. Diana's confidence. Friends later suggested Diana saw the relationship as a summer romance, a way to escape intense pressure, not necessarily a permanent commitment.
Right. And I would agree with that, especially because, her focus um with the boys, she was no dummy. She knew what a relationship with either one of those guys would have entailed, the scrutiny that those boys would have been under as a result of a marriage to either one of them. Um, and especially because her boys went to quote unquote regular schools, and with the scrutiny they were under all the time, she tried to keep them out of the limelight as much as possible. But there was a lot of things, even though she was in love with Hassat, there was still going to be a lot of big consideration for her if she was going to even marry him, despite the deep feelings they had for each other.
And
So
part
I
Yeah.
don't see her going off and marrying Dodi, who she had been seeing for what, like
No.
31 days, something like
And it
that,
was
6 weeks, I don't know.
yeah, something like that.
But part of the issue with that too is, let's say she got pregnant by either one of them. A huge problem with that would be the royals
Mhm.
half sibling, right?
Right.
That would cause huge
Bingo.
issues within the royal family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here again, it's the kids wouldn't have cared, really. I mean, but yeah, that would have been a very
and
bad
that
look for
The
the
royals.
that's one of
royal
the
family.
that's one of the things that Dodi's father, he also pushed that as well. He said that she was pregnant, but it's not
Because that would
that,
connect them. That would
right.
literally connect
But
them, and that's what he wanted. So
Yep.
but at least the evidence that we've seen, unless the forensic reports are lying, she was not pregnant. So
Right, yeah. So, Juror 13 says, so did the Royals play any part in Di's death? Like tell the ambulance take the long route? If so, shame on them. We will be getting into
yeah,
that, but then
we
the
didn't.
last
Yeah,
part
we didn't.
here,
Yeah,
uh, the doctor she wanted was not going to get back with her. Well, like we were saying, he did call her the day before the crash. And according to Burrell, her head butler, he said during the inquest, I guess, that he wanted to reconcile with Diana. So we'll never know, unfortunately, that what would have happened between the two of them.
And don't worry, guys, in the next episode, we will be heavily getting into the accident
Yeah.
and all of the rumors and
Yes.
the possible cover-ups and things like that will be in the next episode. We just wanted to lay a really strong foundation before we got into the big issue.
Stuff, the good stuff.
Right. Because a lot of the foundation does have bearing on not only what led up to the crash, what happened during those very early hours, what happened in the days after that, and in any part of the investigation. So a lot of this, I know it may not seem all that exciting, but you'll
Very
understand
important.
a lot more later with having this information
Yes.
beforehand. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
It does get good in the next episode, and I mean good as in very interesting. Very interesting for sure.
yeah. So, but yeah, I know that there was a lot of speculation about whether she was pregnant. I think didn't Dodi's dad, he was pretty insistent that she
Yes.
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
said he said she
he
was.
was-
Yeah.
Muhammad was looking for any possible way he could find to link himself to that family. And period. That's all it was about. And it's kind of gross to me, okay? Because your son's
Yeah.
dead, okay? So
Right.
all he cared about in the end with this was the money, the notoriety, and the link that he would have had to the royal family, which on the other side of that, oh my God, that would have been a disaster, folks. From the royal family to link them together would have been bad, bad, bad. So very bad.
Yeah. And I think it would have ended up being very bad for her.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they had already up to that point made much of her life torture.
Yes.
And I can just imagine what they would have done if she would have gone ahead, because there was nothing, there were really, there were,
They would have made her life impossible, in my opinion, to be able to
right.
live
I
comfortably.
mean, I would hate to think so, but maybe they would have even threatened to try to take the boys from her, keep her from the boys, or so. I mean, something.
Well, that all and that, yeah, I agree, Robin, and I think that all plays into next episode. What we're about to get into is what happened, guys, because I think that's a major part of it. And to be honest with you, it wasn't just, in my opinion, folks. It and that's why we're doing this too with all of us. I think we all believe this. It wasn't just a random accident, in my opinion.
No.
By any means.
I
No.
don't think so either.
No, there's just too much,
Yeah.
and that's why we don't want to like really get into it tonight, because there's just so
No.
much. And in order to do it justice, and in the typical fashion that all three of our channels do, because as you all know out there, we don't like to just throw things out. We want to make sure we have our facts straight, and we want to do a thorough job for you so that you have all the information that we can possibly bring you. So,
Do we want to
But-
get into just maybe that day and leading up to?
yeah, why
Like-
don't we do just that? Did you have something
Sure.
that you wanted to start off with on that, Logan, or?
I just know, so Dodi went to, so that day they were in Paris, and Dodi went to buy a piece of jewelry which they thought was for Diana. And she had a
Mhm.
hair appointment. And I know the plan that night was supposed to be to stay the night at Dodi's apartment, which was near the Champs-Elysees. And basically, I'm sure you guys have more to add to that. I'm just giving the broad of what kind of the plan was for them that day. And they were trying to avoid photographers that night. So I don't know what you guys have
Right.
to add for that day. We can get a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah, he had gone to the jeweler. It was about like 5 p.m., somewhere around in there. And but this wasn't something that the jewelry that he chose, which later was supposedly an engagement ring, that wasn't anything that he and Diana, he went by himself. She had no prior knowledge of this, piece of jewelry at all.
The
And
name
then
of the piece of jewelry was the Say Yes ring.
the Say Yes, yeah.
Yeah. In
That's what it
French,
Right.
was.
right? It was,
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was in
It was
French.
"Du moi oui" or something like that, which
Something.
is
Yeah.
"Say
Yeah.
yes to me" or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. And they were going to they tried to have dinner that night. This was about, I guess, 7 o'clock at the Ritz, and they had to, because of all the paparazzi, they uh, ended up staying upstairs and eating upstairs.
Which
And
I
they're
do have
Um,
something to say about the paparazzi. Fayed the dad had, planned them to have this extravagant summer on the yacht and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And it was supposed to be so secure and so private. So how was all the paparazzi knowing exactly where they were all the time when it was supposed to be so
Exactly.
secret? Because he
Right.
wanted them to see, so the royal
Yeah.
family could see what was going on.
Yes. Good point. And I threw the picture backstage, Robin, of that night as they left the oh my God, I can't remember the name, but the jeweler thing, and then they were headed off to do what they were going to be doing next. That was what Diana was wearing that night. That's what she looked like, and that's the last photograph of her before she was put into the vehicle. Just so you guys know,
Yeah.
after all that.
Yeah.
So, and again, still, just always looked amazing. Always looked amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, effortless. I mean, just
yeah,
Yeah.
very, very beautiful woman.
Yep.
I just figured it'd be nice to share that photograph as well.
Yeah.
And the Ritz that they were at that night was owned by Dodi's dad.
Yes. Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
So easy to
Yep.
get paparazzi in a place that you own as well.
Now, and
Well,
you're seeing-
yeah.
yeah, right.
She's seemingly trying to avoid them at all cost, which
Wonder if
is what they
this
say, happened. That's why the accident happened. But he owned the building. So if they're paparazzi there, he very well could have said, "Get out of here," but he didn't.
Right. And
Yeah.
so there was a story. I can't remember who Diana supposedly told somebody, a close friend of hers, that this so-called ring would be going on her finger. Where the hell did the story go? I can't find it now. I just had it. Anyway, but so nobody knows. If this person says this, Diana can't tell us whether it's right or wrong. That's the unfortunate part. So, but yeah, the story I was reading just a few minutes ago stated that, and it's kind of interesting. There it is. Sorry guys, I don't know. I'm having weird glitch issues.
That's okay. I understand.
1 minute here. I don't want to go further because that takes the timeline further. The day Diana died, where the orders over soul, blah blah blah. Talks about their okay, so that's too far forward. Okay, so there it is.
Yeah.
The two rings are later delivered to the Imperial Suite. However, a 2013, it was a Vanity Fair article, says that Diana told a friend the ring she would expected to receive would be going firmly on her right hand. So, what does that tell you guys?
She was not going to say yes to any sort of marriage.
Wasn't getting married, right?
No.
Right.
Even if that's what he wanted, that's not what she was going for.
It was going on this hand. There's the ring, and look at that thing, you guys. My
Look
God.
at that.
Right? That thing looks wild.
It is.
I
That's a
I
lot.
can't even
Wow,
imagine wearing
Jesus.
something like that.
That
Right.
doesn't
I
even look
I
like an
just
engagement ring, no.
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 That's a lot. That's too much. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that
definitely. So
uh,
yeah, that was the whole story. Like, she was telling her friends, like, I'm not getting married. It'll be on this hand. Nothing goes on this hand unless, in my opinion,
Yeah.
unless it came from the doctor. That's my thought. So
So I'll
Yep.
give you guys. I'll give you the just. It's not too much, but just the timeline of. I know we're not covering the actual crash yet, but up to that. So
right.
on Saturday, August 30th, 1997. So 1:50 p.m. They departed from Sardinia. Diana and Dodi Fayed left Olbia Airport on a private jet after a 9-day vacation. 3:20 p.m. They arrived in Paris. The couple landed at La Bourget. Is that how you say it? Bourget. I don't know. Bourget Airport, where they were immediately met by a dozen photographers. 4:30 p.m. They check in at the Hotel Ritz Paris. They entered through the rear entrance to avoid crowds and checked into the Imperial Suite. 5:40 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. There was a jewelry store visit. Fayed visited Ripassi Jewelers, as I talked about earlier. 2 rings were later delivered to their suite.
right.
7 p.m. There is a visit to Fayed's apartment. The couple left the Ritz for Fayed's private residence near the Arc de Triomphe. I can't pronounce these things. Triomphe. Sometime in the evening, last phone call, Diana spoke with her sons, William and Harry, who were at Balmoral Castle. 9:50 p.m. They returned to the Ritz after canceling dinner reservations at Benoit, Paris, due to paparazzi. They returned to the hotel to dine at its La Espadane restaurant.
Can I interrupt just for a second?
Yeah.
There's a bit of a small story that kind of slid into what one just said. There's a rumor.
Good.
It's hearsay, and I don't know if it's true or not. But the canceling of the dinner plans. There's a little story that states that Diana is the reason that happened, because Diana had found out and was under the understanding and thought that Dodi was going to propose to her, and she was not going to at the restaurant in front of the whole fucking world. And she was no. As you guys heard, no, she wasn't going to do it. So according to the story that I read, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a rumor that's why the actual reason why the plans had been canceled, because
it's very possible. I could see it.
I know what you're going to do. If I can remember what she said in the article, I don't have that one now, but I read that 2 weeks ago. I know what you're going to do. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. I'm flattered, blah, 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 but I don't want that to happen. So that's why it happened. I don't know if it's true or if it's the other reason. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Good. Sorry. Yeah, good to know. And then just the last thing I have, 10:01 p.m. They moved to private dining. Suspicious photographers in the restaurant. Fayed requested their meal be served in their room. And then
there you go.
And then they leave. And then Sunday 12:20 a.m. And that's when we get into the whole descent of leaving and what happens there. So that's the timeline for that there.
I want to make it a point to say that Diana's phone calls, her last phone calls with her sons.
Yes.
I always wondered, like, what was said? What was
right?
What was that conversation like? And apparently, from my understanding, both of the boys were busy kind of doing their own thing. And Diana, for some reason, made it a point to say, I love you. I need you to remember that. And that was it.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, because there was a rumor. I'll call it a rumor.
That's whack.
That she kind of knew something. Okay.
Oh, of course she knew. She said how many times they've got my phone. They're tapping my phone. They hear all my conversations. And she specifically said they're planning an accident.
Yep. And she basically called her own death in a sense. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy. And that right there is the reason why I always had questions about this. And this photograph, I'm going to show you guys real quick here, is interesting. 1 minute here. As soon as I get it to work, here we go. This is the infamous last photograph, and there it is, Robin. And it supposedly is this the way that this was. There was a title on this. Is like this photograph tells the whole story. There's a way they wrote it down. So that's Diana and Dodi, and this is this so-called one of the drivers or something like that. Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And that the driver was switched out. Blah, blah, blah. There's a whole bunch of things that go behind this that we'll get into next week, you guys. But that's the photograph right there for those of you that never saw it.
Diana also specifically said that she believes they're planning an accident, and she thought that they were going to cut her brake line in the car so she would be in an accident and die. And that was supposedly so Charles could go on and marry Camilla without it being a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's interesting because of the way the accident happened.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
If you think about what Logan just said, and it's so scary to me that you basically know you're going to die, and then it happens. Okay.
I think she knew it was coming. She just didn't know what day it was coming. But to know it was that close, I do think she felt that. I think she felt that it was like really coming soon.
And can you imagine?
For her to say to her sons, I need you to remember that I love you. And that was the last thing she said to them.
Yes. And can you imagine, you guys, Logan, I mean, can you imagine, like, in the midst of the accident, what's going through her mind?
Could you imagine every time she got into a vehicle, what was going through her head?
Up to that point, right. Yeah.
Well, and she had her people, a lot of times, whoever was driving her, she had them get down and check under the car.
Yep.
I mean, so this was a very, very real fear of hers, and in a lot of ways you could say rightly so. I mean, that was something she did all the time. She'd say, do you see anything odd under the car? Do you see anything weird with the car? A lot of times before they got in the vehicle, she wouldn't until the car was checked.
Well, the royal family gave her security even after the divorce, and she said, "No, I'll get my own security. I don't need them knowing where I'm at all." No, not at all.
No.
She's like, I don't need them knowing what I'm doing, where I'm at, where I'm going. I don't want them to have access to me. So she got her own security, but I think Dodi's dad provided her security.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, knowing how much Muhammad wanted to be part of this family, the things that he wanted to be able to get. I would love to see his financials after this, okay? If there was a collaboration between, because you wouldn't think so based on what Muhammad says and the things that he gets into about what happened with his son, so on and so forth. It still makes me wonder, is it a probable thing that there was a collaboration between the royal family and him when it came to this situation? Because it just, I don't know. And yeah, Kim, I agree with you. As soon as the chase started, she probably went into absolute, like, I know what this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Gonna say that every time she got into a car, I'm sure she was thinking, "Is today the day? Is today the day?" But then, as soon as she saw that car or that motorcyclist, all in black, I'm sure she was like, "F."
Yep.
Yeah. And like I said, you guys, next week is going to be really interesting because it's sad, it's heartbreaking, but it is very interesting how all of this unfolds and the things that go along with it, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I just want to say one last thing about the ring. Now, at the time, okay, I used to help manage a jewelry store. Okay. And I know the kind of rings that we sold. And I'm sure many people out there, you guys know what engagement rings cost these days. But at the time, he paid, I think it was like something like 12,000 pounds for this ring at the time. That does not seem like enough money to buy a ring for a princess. I mean, come on, am I wrong here? That I mean, and I know that we're talking back then that was still a lot of money, but still, I don't know. That just, especially for someone of his wealth
Seems like it was kind
and
of cheap,
his
huh?
family. Yes, I'm like, and it's a
I
gorgeous ring. I'm not saying that it's not a gorgeous, wasn't a gorgeous ring, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I agree with you. I think that I would expect more money to be spent. And even back then, that was still a lot of money. But to be
Sure.
fair, if Diana was actually in love with somebody and it was somebody who uplifted her and filled her soul with happiness, I don't think she would care what it cost. It
No,
could cost
she
100
wouldn't have.
pounds. I don't think she would
No,
care.
no,
And
she
that was
wouldn't have. It
part of what
wouldn't
was so great about her.
she could have worn what was it way back in the days, if you were poor you would take the band. Here, you'll appreciate this one. You took the band off of a
Mhm.
cigar,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, you can
I like
literally
that.
take the band off a cigar. I knew you would. And use that as a ring. She wouldn't have cared. You're absolutely right, Logan. I agree. Yeah.
It's very
But
sad to
I
think it's
just
just
thought to
that.
myself, you're gonna propose to a princess with a $12,000 ring, because I've helped people pick out $12,000 engagement rings. And so I'm like, okay.
That's the weird thing because hell, my wife's ring, my current wife's ring is probably a quarter of that. I'll say maybe a little bit more. Okay.
Mhm.
And we're not royalty. We don't have that kind of money, That's a lot of
Right,
payments later, but
right.
just saying, like you could have done better, bud. You could have definitely done better.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but
so do you
but
guys
I think he did it in a hurry. And I think he took what he could get, what he thought would look the most appropriate, maybe. Um, and because it was the carat, it was between 3 and 5 carat
right?
diamond.
Yep.
So
And it's he was pushed into that hurry by daddy. That's the weird shit.
yeah,
Again, these families blow me away. Um, go ahead.
No, KS Justin Art just said it looked more like a cocktail ring to me, and I agree with
Mm-hmm.
that. It wasn't
yeah,
3 to 5 carats like one solitaire. It was total weight,
It
right?
looked
So
it looked
all
like
right,
throughout
costume
the
jewelry.
ring.
Yeah,
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
definitely looked
It
like
it was
costume jewelry.
Yeah. It just it wasn't something like at the store where I worked. We did a lot of custom jobs. Like, the couple would come in, they would pick out the diamond. Separately, they would pick out the setting. They would pick out each of the stones that were going to go in the setting. So, because a lot of people were gravitating away from just a diamond solitaire, they wanted more flash, tasteful flash, most of the people. But so I'm just saying, this was something that was done in a hurry. It wasn't like he had that ring commissioned for her or anything like that. So there was not a lot of thought put into the ring itself.
Yeah, it was pretty weak. I agree. So do you guys think, since we're kind of at the end for tonight, do you guys think that, because I believe that the royal family was involved in this. Truly, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So if that were true, do you think the queen knew and was involved? Or do you think that was other people outside of her?
I'm sure she
She's the head
knew
honcho.
something. Yeah, I'm sure she knew something at the
Yeah.
very
No,
least.
no, nothing would have happened that the queen didn't know.
Right.
Yeah. The queen
Yeah.
ordered the code red. She ordered the code red.
I wondered. I did wonder. I mean, I know, I know, and what I mean by outside of her was like Charles and all the, I don't even know what they're called, the footmen that surround all of them and
Yeah.
everybody that,
The servants and so
the,
forth.
the people that work for Charles and take care of all this. And I just wondered if the
Right.
queen was involved in the decision, if it did happen now, because I always thought maybe not so much Elizabeth, but Philip. Yes, I could see Philip being very, very instrumental in that happening. But there again,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
saying. Just
But
wondering.
I mean, she could try to say, maybe plausible deniability, but I think we all know better.
I think
Yeah.
Witchy makes a good point. Witchy says if she didn't order it, she likely made it known that she wasn't ever going to stop it.
That's a good way.
Right.
Good, thank you. A good
Right.
way to put it, Witchy. Yeah.
Exactly. She knew. I don't believe that she may have orchestrated the whole thing, but she knew. So
I can
but
imagine she's not going to put her name on something that could be drawn back to her. Of course not.
no.
But like I said, I
So
always wondered if it was her or if it was her and Philip, Charles, all of them. Like I said, absolutely, I could see Philip orchestrating this, doing that, and everything else. But no, I mean, you guys are right. The Queen didn't miss anything. So
No.
so well, this was great. I really enjoyed
I
going
can't wait
back
for
through
next
the
week now.
timeline leading. Yeah, it's fascinating. It really is. So I guess if we want to go around the horn, Logan, if you want to go, and then Dago 1-1, and I'll close us out then.
Yeah, I want to say one last thing that I want us all to keep in mind, though. Diana's age. She was not old by any
No.
means.
Mhm.
So I
Not
think
at all.
her mind was still a little bit young as well. Like, this was not an older person. She was very young.
No.
So I want us all
Yes.
to remember that. But I do want to thank everybody for being here. Today was kind of a little bit more about just laying the foundation right before the big boom of what's going to be talked about next week. So make sure and come back next week is when we will get into all the good stuff and all the interesting stuff. So thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you, everybody who tunes in, especially on Sundays, for our case that is not Idaho 4 or anything that's going on in the world today. So we appreciate all of you. Everybody do something nice for yourself today. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Dago, thank you for that, Logan.
Absolutely. Good job, Logan. Thank you guys for joining us today or tonight again. I love doing these Sunday things. Definitely this one for sure. And I appreciate you guys being here for it, all of you from the entire community. Of course, as always, thank you to the amazing moderators, whom we would not exist without. You guys are absolutely amazing, and love to each and every one of you. Again, I can't wait till next Sunday for the rest of this, guys. It's so very interesting. Very sad, yes, but so very interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, thank you again, Robin11 and Miss Logan, for being here and having me here with you. It's always an honor. Greatly appreciated. And everybody in the chat, the community, you guys are amazing. As always, don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and don't change anything because, of course, you're all the beautiful people. And we will see you guys next Sunday. Have a great night, folks.
Thank you, sir. 1-1, what say you?
Great episode 3. Great, amazing input and background info. I know everyone wants to jump right in to the scene that has the most controversy and twists and turns and threads and everything, including the kitchen sink. But we have to begin at the start and give you guys a solid background into the key players, and it explains things far deeper, as to maybe why certain people made certain decisions, or why people felt a certain way, or at least possibly felt a certain way. So it's always good to try to get a background, and I'm enjoying these shows as well. It's nice to have a break from Idaho 4 a bit, although Idaho 4, as I said, it's the gift that keeps giving, and there definitely is a crazy amount of content that's surely going to pop off. I believe momentarily in that case, but there are many other cases and many other cold cases, and just I am enjoying these cases now. I will say if I see IGG, is trying to get involved in Princess Diana. I know that I heard they want to get into John Benet Ramsey, so
Good Lord.
right. But so it's funny because a lot of these things somehow wind up getting intertwined. But when we start to dive into some of the meat and potatoes next week, I can just say, make sure you have your pants buttoned tight, have a belt on, keep it on tight, because you're gonna get your socks knocked off. Some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So, and with that, thanks to the great crew, panelists, all of you guys, all of the mods from all the channels. Great discussion, and we love your support, and thank you, for showing up. And I will leave you with my daily movie quote. Should I give Dago a handicap? I was gonna do, I was gonna do another quote, but I think he was gonna get it in like half a second, so I'm choosing a different one right now.
Oh, no.
I will give you a hint. It is a movie from the 90s. So it is.
Okay.
I probably won't get it.
This is a good one. It's a good classic. Well, what if there is no tomorrow? There wasn't one today.
Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog's Day.
Got it.
Very good.
Yes.
You got it.
One.
That's Logan. Almost had it.
Very good.
Good job, Logan.
That was great. Good job.
I almost had that too. It was on the tip of my tongue.
I love that. I love that movie.
I couldn't say it. It's a good movie. I just watched that the other day.
Yeah.
I just love
Bill Murray.
Yeah. How many times you watched it, Logan?
I don't know. A lot.
Over and over.
Just like Groundhog Day.
Over and over.
Exactly. Great movie.
Oh, that was great. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. And if you're not here with us live tonight and you watch us on the replay crew, we appreciate you so much. And we do really enjoy these nights where we kind of go into a different realm in a way. The different cases, it kind of keeps things a little fresh. It's also sometimes nostalgic. So many of us,
Yes.
Logan started us off, remembering where we were when this happened with Diana, and
awesome.
I saw the chat light up, and it's cool for us to remember. It's neat to see your memories out there. So we love the way that you guys engage with us in the chat. We absolutely love it. So please keep doing that. I'm so thrilled to sit on this panel with this group of people we have. So blessed to be a part of, all of our communities. You guys you rock. And we know Lee feels the same way. But we will be back tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and of course 9 p.m. Eastern. So, and I hope everyone has a wonderful night and take care of yourselves. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good night, folks.
Adios.